Meantime, the Senate will be back in session today amid a hot debate over the next round of coronavirus aid. President Trump says any bill must include a payroll tax cut to get his backing.
I want to see a payroll tax cut on both sides, a very strong one, because that's going to really put people to work. I told Steve just today, we're not doing anything unless we get a payroll tax cut. That is so important to the success of our country.
Joining us now is Wyoming Republican Senator John Barrasso. He's chair of the Senate Republican Conference. Senator, I see you no longer at home. You're back to work and ready to go. Good morning to you, sir.
Good to be with you, Ed.
Talk a little bit about the payroll tax cut. The president's been talking about that for some time. So far, Democrats have not gone along. Make the case at a time when, if you're one of the 30 million who unfortunately, tragically, are now unemployed because of this virus, if you're not paying into the payroll tax system, you're not really going to get a tax cut, are you?
Well, there are 30 million Americans out of work today, and that's why I think it's so important, Ed, for the Senate to be in session, because there are things that we may need to do to help those people still legislatively. The president makes a strong case for a payroll tax cut. He wants it included in the next proposal. What we need to do needs to be targeted, temporary, and specifically focused on the impacts of the coronavirus. So as we come back to debate all of those components, we need to make sure that we're taking care of those people who are out of work today through no fault of their own. What we may need to do first is take a look at the Paycheck Protection Plan, and it may need additional money sooner than later.
So you may want to tweak the small business loans. We've heard some people not getting it. Others have had success stories, but that money running dry. But on my question about the payroll tax cut, how do you help the 30 million or so unemployed when they're not paying into the payroll tax system?
I want to see the specific proposal from the White House. Those are my concerns, Ed, as well, because you want to make every dollar count. And while it can help people that are working and help the employers, you need to make sure for those 30 million people, they have what they need. That, to me, is the focus. Those are the folks I was talking to at home in Wyoming. We were successful in Wyoming. All of the small mom and pop businesses that were looking for those paycheck protection loans, as of Friday, were able to get those. The president has been talking since day one of this pandemic of the issue of a payroll tax cut. I know it's something he's passionate about. I want to see the specifics before I'm ready to work on that bill.
Tell us where we are in the negotiations in terms of getting money, billions more, to states and local governments. You and others have made the case that we can't be bailing out states who have been fiscally unwise in recent years and used this pandemic potentially to bail them out. On the other hand, you hear governors in both parties in some cases saying, look, I might have to lay off cops and firefighters and other workers, critical workers in your state and other states, unless I get some money. How do you balance that out, sir?
Well, less than 2 weeks ago, the states received $150 billion. Much of that has not been spent yet. I think the states need more flexibility with that money in terms of how they spend that. But that's different than an additional amount that Nancy Pelosi has asked for, $1 trillion. And a lot of that is to bail out state pension plans that have had decades of mismanagement. And I am not for that, or are Republicans for that at all. What Republicans are talking about, however, is liability reform to try to give some protection to our health care workers, our small businesses that are trying to open, to get the economy going again so they don't have to live in fear of lawsuits. And you may have seen some of the ads, Ed. It's astonishing. It's sue the nursing home, sue the college that sent you home early, sue your boss. The list is long, and we can't have our small businesses or healthcare workers living in fear of those lawsuits as we reopen America.
Yeah, it's a big issue, no doubt. Tax is always a big issue, especially in an election year. Here's how the president framed it in the town hall. We'll get your reaction. Watch.
My ambition is very quickly to get us back to where we were. And I think we can do that very, very quickly. Not if a Democrat comes in and raises taxes. They want to raise everybody's taxes. We're doing the opposite. And the payroll tax cut is very important for getting people back to work.
So talk about how quickly you think this economy can bounce back in the last minute we have.
Well, Wyoming is open for business again. We reopened on the 1st. People are out and about and doing things. We're doing it sensibly, socially distancing. People are doing all the things that the guidelines would suggest. It is safe for us to open. The White House has outlined a 3-phase plan. We want to make sure you have enough tests, you have enough health care providers and facilities, can do it safely, smartly. The quicker we can get the country back going again, I think the better it's going to be for all of us, certainly better for the economy. We've been hit by both a disease and an economic plight for this country. We will get through this. As Ronald Reagan used to always say, our best days are ahead.
All right. Senator John Barrasso, back to work on the Hill. Good to see you, sir. We'll see you soon. Thank you.
Thank you, Ed.
Sandra?